You're tuned in to Get Right Fantasy.
Hey everybody, Adam Rank here.
What's up, friends? Daniel Dopp here from the Fantasy Focused Football Podcast over on ESPN.
It's Fabs here, Michael Fabiano from Sports Illustrated.
You know who you can trust if you've got some questions about your fantasy squad?
Want to check out a cool show on YouTube that'll help you get ready for the fantasy football season?
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network.
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network. If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? You want to lose your league?
Head on over to YouTube. Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network because they're doing everything they can to make you a better fantasy player.
You got to get right with the Get Right Fantasy Network.
You're tuned in to Get Right Fantasy.
What up, everybody? Welcome back. It's Friday night. Another episode of the Get Right Fantasy Network. Our little Friday night start, sit, live Q&A. Let's talk through some tough decisions. Got my one of my favorite people to hang out with Friday night, Evan Sather, and Mike should be here in just a couple minutes. We'll see how it's going. You know, big love for Mike, so when he gets in here, make sure to talk some heat on the Giants there. Evan, how we doing tonight?
I am fantastic, Kendall. It's been a while since we've changed things up here with the host role, and at the same time, I wasn't sure if I was going to be ready on time because I had to scarf down a bunch of miniature quesadillas, and I did it right as the show, but right as it was about to begin. I am happy, and my belly is full. I'm ready. We're going to roll our sleeves up, and we're getting into it. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's do it. All right, quick warm-up question for the day. I'm going to throw you on the spot because you mentioned quesadillas, and you are from a little neck of the woods that I used to call home for a little while. Good time. Chicago in all of its glory. All right, I need your best like late night. Let's go Hispanic in general. Late night tacos. You having quesadillas? Where's your spot?
I'm not a late night guy, food guy anymore, as I've kind of turned into boring 40-year-old Evan that goes to bed at about 11 o'clock every single night Central Time. So I don't know why people needed to know when I go to bed roughly, but now it's out there. So there you go.
You got to sub next time for additional time with Evan. That's the next segment.
I guess I'll have to change that up. Anyway, so Little Village definitely has the best Mexican restaurants that are out there. El Milagro is a staple of Chicago. Must visit. That's a restaurant that does the best tortillas.
You know, we're gonna have to do a live show from there before Scott Fish Live this upcoming year, man. Might have to be a good one. That
would be fantastic. And I they're not even paying me to say that. That's how much I love their food.
You know, we love it. We love it. We'll take some money though too. So you know, restaurants, you want us talking about it? Throw us some free food, man. We'll call it a day. But hey, welcome to Week 14. Let's get into it. We're gonna go over some injuries real quick, but get your questions in the chat. And we're gonna get to literally every single one of them. If you got multiple, cool. It's all good. If you have limited time and you like what we have to say, we tend to go at least pretty in-depth at all the questions. No yes, no answers here until we get to the end of the show. But we'll go as in-depth as we can. If you only got 5 minutes, big decision. Maybe the playoffs are on the line. If you'd be so kind, throw us a little super chat, a little diaper money for your boy Kendall over here. Would certainly appreciate it. Whatever you can afford to. Don't go too crazy. Stay within budgets, but we got to keep the lights on. We certainly appreciate any generous donations from friends of the show. We'll get to it, and we will go as in-depth as possible. Please hit the like button if you can. Helps us out a lot. If you want to support the show, just hit the like button, subscribe. You know the usual, but it really does help. If you're already subbed, you can still hit that like button. Appreciate you. Let's get into it. Let's talk some injuries. If anyone's got Thursday night questions for like rest of the season, we can get into that too. But overall, quarterback injuries. We got Lamar Jackson, ankle limited. Didn't practice Thursday, expected to play. It's just looking uglier. Not really in doubt, but I'm sure we're going to get some start-sit decisions, even on the group chat. I know that was a particular one for a lot of us. Justin Herbert's hand, surgery Monday, limited Thursday, expected to play on Monday from most sources. Risky. It's Monday. You guys know the drill, right? It's quarterback with an injury who just had surgery. He's expected to play. Take that for what it is. We can go into that a little more in depth if you want to. That's the current news that everyone is working with. Justin Fields ruled out. Kyler Murray is playing Call of Duty. News came out. Looks like he is going to be missing the rest of the regular season. Some interesting quotes. I think we're probably going to get into that just for a little minute here. And Jaden Daniels, full go, going to be making his start, going to come back. Players got to play. I know their season's over, but he's going to play, so might get some start-sit questions as Jaden is going to be the quarterback. Mariota can go sit back down. Maybe Washington gets more interesting. Evan, any QB injuries that are particularly calling your name?
I find it tragic that Justin Fields seems to be getting hurt as a result of New York Jet negligence, but I also find it a bit stupid, for lack of a better way to put it, that they think that Tyrod Taylor is that much better at quarterback when he's not. He's playing about the same as Fields.
So, Rob, how you doing?
Yeah, it's a whole mess that I take all night to get to. But as soon as we're done with the injuries, I definitely want to talk more about Kyler Murray.
Well, we'll get into it. We can, we wanna do a little. I won't call it hating, but I'll take the hate side of it. I'm into chirp on some Kyler Murray. Hey, the grandfather, the Godfather himself, Rosta's in the house. What up? What up? How you doing, my friend? Stick around, man. We're about to talk some massive smack on Kyler Murray, but Rasta as the resident 49ers guy, I'm a Purdy truther. Maybe he's on bye this week, so we don't have a matchup to talk about him, but might have to hear you chirping in chat about the 49ers. They're not going to come up in chat at all. Or just glaze me up on our Bears over here. You got two diehard Bears. So if you want to talk some Bears with us, Rasta, let's get it, man. So glad to have you.
If this is the first time in your chat in the chat as well, please know that we're just getting through some injury news right now. We will get to your question as soon as we get through all the positions that matter most.
Amen. Well, the Godfather, he pops in for a couple minutes whenever he can. What do you think here, Evan? What's your take? I know you're a Mahomes guy.
Well, while we're talking about the quarterbacks, I guess we can get to Rasta first. Yeah, we'll get to Kyler Murray in a bit here. So, so Mahomes, I don't see a reason to bench him against Houston. I mean, I don't expect the Chiefs to win the game, but I definitely expect the Chiefs to have to throw the whole game. So that's good for Patrick Mahomes. I definitely expect this to be a close game, if not Houston leading this game for most of it. So I'm throwing in Mahomes if I can.
Yep, Rasta. I'm doing it. I'm keeping this on. They have no run game and no expectation of gaining one out of nowhere. I'm always going to take Mahomes over a tough defense for sure. I'm not saying they're not going to play him tough, but I think the touchdowns still come because they're not going to the running game. That's for sure. Similar to like why Brissett's been really good. There is no run game. The attempts will be up in the 40, 45 plus. And I think the rest will come. So I'm in on him. And appreciate that, bad. Little homie is we'll get some pictures out in Discord or something pretty soon, but yeah, he's doing good, man. But we'll get to everyone else to start sit in just a second here. Won't take too long. I want to just run through some quick injury news while we have it, and then we'll get back to all you guys. Gives us a second to get a few questions going on. Start to get them cleared up there. Running backs: Alvin Kamara, ankle ruled out. It's going to be Devin Neal getting the start. Kenneth Walker, glute limited. Should be good to go. Second week in a row, random stuff has popped up. Again, should be a full go there though. Josh Jacobs, knee limited, is playing good to go. Aaron Jones, Packers, shoulder, did not practice Wednesday. Not listed on the injury report currently. Looks like just veteran rest. He's going to be good to go from all expectations. Woody Marks, foot limited Thursday. Not really in risk of missing. I think one Monday or Tuesday, the head coach already came out with a he's going to be fine situation. Looking good. That's one that might come up a little bit. The matchup's a little bit scary. Touchdowns have not been there. Might be a tie breaking with the foot injury. We'll have to see. Kyle Monangai, ankle limited Thursday. Expectation is that he is going to play. Not a not going to play injury, but maybe it might affect some start sit decisions perhaps. Kyron, ankle limited, but good to go. And noteworthy, he returned to the game on the when he got injured, when Benson was making people hot and bothered, did come back and play, so he's good to go. Trey Benson, knee limited, still on IR. He's not playing this week. if you guys have questions on that, definitely let me know. We'll answer them a couple times here and there. But the idea with Benson is that they have until end of the day, basically midnight Wednesday, or 11:59 or whatever is the legal limit to go ahead and activate him. So that is typically, I mean, he's going to have a Wednesday practice. That's typically when we're going to see big injury updates. It's probably about 50-50 that he fully gets activated. I know a lot of people are calling it into question. The tough thing is he needs to not have a setback. He could have been good this week, but he started experiencing some pain and discomfort, I believe was the quote. Without setbacks, expectation is that he will be a good to go. But there could be setbacks going into next week. It's very much up in the air. Definitely not playing this week, and it's a start shit show. So if you got questions about what to do with roster manipulation with him, let us know. Bam Knight Cardinals, knee limited. He's going to be playing. At least that's the expectation. Michael Carter, Dearness Johnson are the other healthy backs. So Bam Knight's playable. Omarion Hampton, coming back from the fibula fracture, full practice, recent report. He's going to be a full go. He's going to play. Evan, anything there that you want to spend an extra 30 seconds on? Got something there? Keep it rolling?
Nah, nothing about the running backs. It's none of this is surprising news, but I mean, we'll get into Trey Benson in a bit too. It's a bit odd. His injury is a bit odd too, but then again, so are the Cardinals. Let's move on to wide receivers.
Awesome. Wide receivers. That's a big one. Drake London. This one's really going to hurt. I know a lot of people were hoping on him being back, needing him being back in a spot that should be pretty decent for him. DMP, he's ruled out. He will not be playing. So Kyle Pitts decisions in play. I think Darnell Mooney's you're not really a playoff team if you're probably in that decision. But if you're there, that could be something to discuss a little bit there. So Drake London is out. Chris Olave back. Limited practices all week, did not miss any practices outside of typical veteran reps. Questionable, very much expected to play with no missed practices. Devontae Adams, hamstring, limited, should be good to go. I think we would have heard something by now if there was anything else expected. Notably, it is a hamstring. We know that hamstrings are a little bit scary. The chance of re-injuring is elevated with that type of injury. Devontae's been playing a long time. I'm sure he's going to take care of himself, though. I'm not super worried about it. Evan, let me know if that's something you want to come back to. Marvin Harrison Jr., heel. He is going to be out. Michael Wilson back in play. Rome, foot, did not practice. So he's actually been nursing an injury. This just came out. Looks like it was maybe unreported, or at least it was something that maybe they knew about, not the extent of it. Anyways, what coaching staff said, something he's been dealing with, but it's just time to get him some rest. Can't play through it, so he is going to be out, and then week to week. I think the expectation is he should be back next week, but is technically week to week. Tough blow for our Bears. We got every game's big game for us. That was painful. But for we're damn near a lock for the playoffs at this point. I'm in trust Ben Jay and just get us healthy. I don't know, Evan. Anything here on the Rome injury as a Bears?
We'll get to these in a bit. Let's just get through this list first.
Dontavian Wicks, ankle limited Thursday, expected to play. Jaden Reed, shoulder foot. He's limited. 21-day window is open. I think we are pretty close to Jaden Reed being back. It's just not going to be this week. But a playoff stash for many on the waiver wire that we talked about last week. Mike Evans, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, collarbone, limited. This man was on the practice field Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Open. His window's open. He is not going to be playing this week. We all knew he wasn't going to play this week for the most part. The fact that he's practicing is unreal. Honestly, it's truly phenomenal. But he could be back next week. He might not. I would not get too crazy about him even playing next week, though, in all honesty. It's looking extremely possible. We'll have to see how this week goes. T. Higgins, out of concussion protocol. Cleared to play. Burrow, Chase, T, the family's back. Chase Brown. Maybe we get some exciting Bengals. We'll have to see. Tight end injuries. David Njoku, knee, limited. Snap share plummeted, playing about 50% of the snaps. It's really fallen off the radar. I'm not sure if he's going to come up. Dalton Kincaid, big one for a lot of you, big one for me. I happen to have a random amount of him since all of you guys sniped me on Kraft all year long this year. You got what you deserved, all right? You know who I'm talking about. Guys, Bears fan, you think I'm going to complain about Kraft going down? It's not happening. Dalton Kincaid, hamstring, knee, everything about him. Infinitely limited every single week and day. Honestly, this one, I think he's going to play, but it's truly up in the air. He's been week to week with different injuries. I don't have a good feel on this one. I think he's going to be probably close to a true game time decision, leaning towards playing. It's literally the greatest matchup of all time for tight ends if he plays. So we might bring him up a little bit later on as start sit. Who do you start over him? That's the injuries. I don't think we got all the last minute updates here, but those are the major ones. I'm not seeing any that we missed that are crazy. If we do, we can look them up and talk about them. I know we've made decisions on our own lineups on pretty much everything. So, yeah. Evan, what do we think? You want to bob over to Q&A? Are there any particular injuries that are worth going into for the long haul?
We should probably get to Katamari 47's question, and then we can get back to talking more about the weirdest parts of these injuries.
I'm with you. All right, let's get into some Q&A. Let's talk some football. Katamari 47, appreciate tuning in. Love to have you here. So we got a quarterback question: Baker Mayfield or Caleb Williams this week?
So I have Baker at QB 7, and I have Caleb Williams at QB 11. The possible return of Mike Evans is going to change a lot for this Buccaneers offense. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Mike Evans is, he was limited, but his window was open, but he's been ruled out, so he's not going to come back yet. But even then, he's got Godwin, he's got Egbuka, and he's got a pretty nifty tight end in Cade Otton, even though he's not the most major part of their passing game. Their offensive line is a bit concerning, but then again, it's the New Orleans Saints, right? I mean, it's not a... It's a division rival, but it's also not that powerful of a defense anymore. So Baker Mayfield and the targets that he has, I like that Bucky Irving is also back because that's going to help open up the passing game a bit more, where the Chicago Bears, I think, in this rival game against the Green Bay Packers, I think there will be a lot of passing attempts from both quarterbacks, and it's going to be a shootout, more or less. I'm predicting the score is going to be something like Bears 32, Packers 30. I think both teams are going to get above 30 points. It's going to be nuts. But I have Caleb at QB 11. So I'm putting Baker over Caleb for this week.
Gotcha. I'm burying Caleb this week. Unfortunately, I'm pretty off of him. I know the weather is not supposed to be. It's supposed to be extremely cold. I don't think that's necessarily going to affect the game all that much. It's two NFC North teams. I know this was something that's been talked about quite a bit as we're starting to get into extreme cold weather. I haven't seen that there's any inclement weather. And the stats. Shout out to fantasy footballers. Jason Moore was really in on this one. That just pure cold weather probably shouldn't affect this too much. That being said, I don't love that we don't have Rome. I don't love that it's a division matchup away. We'll see. If Caleb has a crazy explosive offensive game, this is going to go down. If we win in a crazy offensive shootout in Green Bay this year, it's going to be memorable though. From a real football standpoint, that would be a bridge too far. If you didn't believe in the Bears after the Eagles, we beat the Packers at home, a division rival that have owned us. That's a new level of I'm ready to be hurt. I'm fully there at that point. I can still live if we don't have a crazy season this year. But if that happens, I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, I think we're both in on Baker.
You know who I think is going to be stepping up big time with no Rome? Luther Burden.
Well, LB, 5-star recruit. Yeah, I think so. I worry a little bit that he's still going to get integrated about as much as he normally would. But I do think if we need some pop, we've got to scheme some. I'm just saying he's not a 1-for-1 replacement. Where what I'm curious to see is how much Zacchaeus plays versus how much Burden can get on the field. If Ben J, because maybe he knew that Rome wasn't going to be playing most likely, I trust Ben J to have already kind of schemed some stuff up. I was predicting a Luther Burden pop-off game because it's going to happen. He's a rookie drafted where he was, of the caliber and talent that he is with an offensive coach. It's written in the stars. It's going to happen. Why not this week? I guess. I think a lot of the fancy Luther Burden plays are only going to get pulled out if Caleb shows that he can do what he's supposed to do in the first drive. But I like that call. I was a little more in on, I know the matchup's bad for tight end. Packers typically are very stout against it. I think Loveland is going to be quite a good play this week. I think the targets have to go somewhere, and Caleb, I don't think we want him holding the ball a long time, but I do think you're right. Somebody from the DFS side of things, I want some dart throws in this game, because if it goes off, I think it goes off pretty hard.
The Packers can't defend 2 tight ends at a time, and being that we have both Loveland and Kmet is going to be a nightmare for their overrated defense because, yeah, they got Micah Parsons, which is going to help get some pressure, but the rest of their defense really is nothing to write home about. They lost a lot of games they should have won this year, and that's detrimental to them.
You're not wrong. So Katamari, it's Baker. It's by a decent number of spots, not super close. We're very in on Baker this week across the board. Follow Rob Thomas. Good to have you, friend of the show. How you doing? And I don't think I recognize so many folks that I'm not personally as familiar with. They could be some OGs from back in the day. Evan, you gotta let me know when it's someone from your neck of the woods. Want to welcome them in.
Yeah, I mean, it's regardless. We love having you all here. Love the shout outs, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll get to as many questions as we can tonight.
Oh, I think we're gonna get to a fair few amount. And good friend of the throw show, Bro Shove, hopping over here. What's good, fellas? Need to start too. Bro Shove in quite a few of our Get Right leagues as well. If you guys, if anyone listening in wants to get in on some of our leagues, let us know. Message us, Sleeper. Message us, leave a comment. We'll talk to you. We've got lots and lots of community leagues. Would love to have you. Need to start too in a guillotine league. It's PPR. We've got Kyron in his matchup against Arizona, Judkins against Tennessee, Genty, Saquon, Waddle. We need to start 2. Kyron, Judkins, Genty, Barkley, Waddle. What are you thinking?
I don't know squat about guillotine, so I'm going to defer to you here.
So all guillotine means is think of it like a really, really slim league. Because someone
I know what it is. I just don't have any experience in it, so I can't really be of help for guillotine.
So nothing changes. It's still purely redraft. The only thing that's going to be weird is you're like, why am I only picking between all studs? Like, how is this lineup so loaded? Because it's like it goes from like a large team down to like a 6-team league where everyone's lineup is just obscene, right?
I get it. I know what it is. I just don't have experience with it, so I'm not going to be able to give the best answer here.
So it's just pure rankings here. If I had to start too, I mean, I'm literally going completely off of my my like projections here. I like Kyron quite a bit. I do not like Genty this week too much. Barkley is a so-so matchup. Waddle against an awful secondary does spice me up a little bit. I think I'm definitely going Kyron against Arizona. The chances he falls into the end zone are extremely high. I don't think I trust Waddle purely, but I'm pretty close to Waddle. It's not Barkley. It's not Genty for me. It's going to be Kyron, Judkins, Waddle. Break a tie for me. I know you got some rankings up there. Who would you, if you had to knock off one between Kyron, Judkins, and Waddle, who'd be your first out?
Let me look at my flex rankings here. So I got Kyron at 20. I'm looking at, this is PPR. So for flex, I got Kyron at 20. Barkley is sitting at 29. So it looks like Waddle is at 26. So I think I've got to knock down Barkley here because I don't know what the heck the Philadelphia Eagles are doing with their offense anymore. Nick Sirianni and I forgot the name of their offensive coordinator that the Eagles fans want gone, but this Eagles team they need to prove that they can snap back into their Super Bowl caliber form, which they have not done. And I mean, when it's getting to the point that AJ Brown has to complain on social media, the coaches are fucking up in a lot of places. Yeah. So
yeah, it's a problem over there. So we both agree Kyron's pretty chalky. He's our first in there, Bro Shove. After that, rankings-wise, it's looking like Waddle and then Barkley. I just like that Judkins against Tennessee. I feel like the field position game is going to be very in favor of Cleveland, just absolutely ransacking on defense. And it's going to set Judkins up for hopefully, I think, a pretty easy at least one touchdown. Waddle against an abysmal New York Jets secondary, though. It feels like he should have 100 yards and a touchdown. Judkins is a little bit capped with that offense. So if you really want to split hairs, I think Judkins is I'm already favored to win by 10-15. I think I would take it easy. But if you're really just playing to win, I think Kyron and Waddle is who we're saying for right now. So best of luck, Bro Shove. Hopefully that's not against me. I could be playing him in a couple places. He's quite good. And Caleb Andrew 5844 happens to. That's why we didn't recognize it. New viewer. Nice to meet y'all. Hey,
Glad to have you with us.
Absolutely, Caleb. Glad you could find us. Let's talk some football, man. Let's answer some questions. Caleb, I'm going to put a link to our Discord in, by the way. We live in that thing, man. Even when we're not live, we've got a pretty great community. We'd love to have you in there. Some sharps, a lot of community league stuff, and it's definitely where when I'm not hanging out with my kids, I have definitely been known to spin a book or two in there. It's the longest answer you'll ever see. So let's get to your question here. We've got the number 1 seed secured. Okay,
Congrats.
He says, should I be looking at picking up someone like Jaden Reed, Burden, maybe wide receiver, so A.D. Mitchell, players like that with possible breakouts, or keeping someone like Blake Corum? Possibly looking at the wide receiver stash versus RB as a positional question. What are your thoughts here on the breakout wide receivers versus your traditional running back stashes like Corum? I think that's more or less the question. Sounds like he's pretty sharp and understands who we should be looking out for, but more or less positional folks.
Okay, so I'm going to have to keep this short because we're probably going to have more questions come in, but Blake Corum is one example of many football players in fantasy that is pissing me off this year because too many people are overvaluing Blake Corum. Everybody's acting like he's a must-add. The guy gets limited volume. He happened to fall in the end zone. I think he had a breakout run against the Carolina Panthers who couldn't stop a stop sign, and we're acting like that Blake Corum is just going to be replacing Kyren at some point. He's clearly the backup to Kyren Williams. Kyren is healthy. He's not at risk of missing anything right now. He's got the ankle injury we just discussed, but he is playing. I see no reason to be stashing Blake Corum at this time because you could do better with wide receivers like Adonai Mitchell, for example, because he is pretty much fighting for the number 1 wide receiver spot on the New York Jets, which I get it. It's gross. It's the New York Jets. They can't play a good offense to save their lives, but somebody's got to catch the football. Because the quarterback has to throw the football to somebody, and it's not going to be to Mason Taylor all day long. So whether it's Adonai Mitchell or John Mechie, I'd be more than happy to get Adonai Mitchell on my bench in case you have to flex him at some point if something were to happen to your other wide receivers. Jaden Reed and Luther Burden, I don't think you have to go out of your way to stash because the Packers don't have a top wide receiver. I don't think Reed is the guy. I think it's Christian Watson, but that's just because Tucker Kraft is out. And Luther Burden is still developing in an offense that's still trying to firmly establish their passing identity with Caleb Williams under center. Burden's a great dynasty stash, but for redraft, I'm not banking on him over Adonai Mitchell.
Yeah, and I have a lot of Adonai Mitchell. I've got a lot of John Mechie. Man, I picked up a ton of Mechie too. I don't know. After Garrett Wilson, I like Payne. I'm huge on Breece Hall. I'm huge on Garrett Wilson. I'm somehow I've backdoored myself into being a Jets fan by absolute necessity. It is a bad place to be. I'm coming as a career Bears fan here. I can't pick up the Jets as my must-win team. Alcohol sales in here are just going to be too high. So here's what I'm thinking. I definitely agree with Evan on that one. My 2 cents to add on top are Jaden Reed is not the best stash. He's better than no stash, right? Let's get that on the top. If you have IR spots, things like that, let's manipulate the rosters. Let's use our tools, right? I think that's fantasy 101, though. Let's go past there. Who we're stashing, since we're definitely stashing someone. Reed's tough because when are you going to play him? The chances he has a good game after a really good game are already not quite there. Right?
Slim to none, just like the rest of their wide receivers.
So no matter what, if it's an option of who to stash, I want to look at what, oftentimes we look at what's your first bench stash, your last round pick in redraft in general, at the exception of the draft. I want someone who, if I can look for something in week 1, it's going to definitively tell me yes or no on keeping or passing on them. You need that because you only have so many weeks. You can't let them sit there forever, right? So I want to keep the players who, if something happens, I absolutely know they will be in my lineup and that thing be slightly predictable, right? A couple weeks ago, I was on I would rather stash Devin Neal than I think I might have mentioned Luther Burden or a couple of other people who I thought I wouldn't necessarily get into my lineup, even if they had the breakout where Kamara goes down with his age, something could happen. So I like Corum over options that I think will continue ambiguity even after they play. Mike Evans is the opposite, right? When he plays, he's golden. He's going to get on the field, and he's probably going to catch a touchdown, right? Jaden Reed might play 20% of the snaps first game back. He could have 2 touchdowns. He could have 0. It's just you're not going to know. Your point about Adonai Mitchell and John Mechie, one of them's probably going to be the one. One of them's going to be a little more consistent. And honestly, there's plenty of games where they're both playable, where they've got to throw the ball 45 times like Brissett's been doing because they're playing from behind with bad secondary. So the chances that they're both relevant. A.D. Mitchell was the only 100-yard receiver the other week. Week before, Mechie was like a solid 15-point guy, right? So they just traded very reasonable startable fantasy weeks. The chances they continue that are pretty high. I would absolutely pick one of those as a wide receiver breakout if guys like Jaden Higgins aren't available. He was someone that I was looking at quite heavily. But if all of them aren't available and you're choosing between like Luther Burden or even at this point, and I love this player, Chimere Dike, like him, bad matchup against Cleveland, won't know when to trust him unless you get points for the return. So over those super questionable options, I would go with a Blake Corum because it's not about Corum. I don't like Corum. I don't like him at all. But I will take insert second running back on a good offense over wide receivers that are just never realistically going to make my lineup. So that's the philosophy I would probably go with. 2 Chicago guys telling you probably not Burden should mean something. We have every reason to want him to do good. I just think there's other weapons too, right? I mean, don't you think like even if everyone gets injured, like Cole Kmet goes up more than Luther Burden in some cases, right? It's just not quite there. So congrats again on the 1 seed though.
Yes, and thank you for your question too, Caleb. We definitely hope for the best with your bye week secured up. Is hoping you tune in for future episodes. That is pretty much my philosophy as well. Is that in redraft leagues, I will always fight people on stashing handcuff running backs because those guys don't. Handcuffs are running backs who don't have enough standalone value to make it worth adding. And Blake Corum happened to fall into the end zone and had 81 yards on the ground, and that's just one of those anomalies that he's going to have behind a Kyron Williams. And people start to get cute at this time of year with who do I stash? Who could be a potential league winner? Should I start picking up all these defense/special teams? All you need to do is just stash the best possible players on your bench that you could flex in a pinch. Maybe that's not so easy in your league at this time of year, but ultimately that should be your goal. If you want to play keep away with other people in your leagues, like with extra quarterbacks, make sure you're not dropping anybody important so that you don't screw up your own depth. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff I go against the grain on that y'all probably will hate me for it, but I stand on all 10 toes on that one.
I'm definitely with you on the, like, I don't play keep away on defenses. It's too volatile. By the way, this is more of a league situation too. I neuter defensive scoring so that it's not too swingy. And that's where I can vote it. I don't have defenses in any of my competitive leagues because I just don't think if you're paying a reasonable amount of painful to lose money, it shouldn't come down to a swingy defensive matchup. That's just my 2 cents. I know it's not popular with everybody, but it's the least predictable stat. We all do the least amount of stuff on it. Don't even get me started on kickers. But we just don't know. Give me an IDP league over a defense. That's the one thing I don't like too. I don't like that we draft offensive players and defense plus special teams jumbled into one. It's very different types of research, and I hate it. I don't love it. Give me IDP slots if you like defense. But I get you. Hey, congrats on the 1 seed. We are a little bit light tonight on chat. I think a lot of people have a lot of things going on. A lot of people traveling for the holidays. A lot of work. Christmas parties going on tonight. A lot of going to other people's stuff tonight. So I think we're probably going to have a fairly reserved show tonight. I believe so. Good.
I mean, I was also going to bring up the what's inside of the fantasy football community is that you have your home leagues, and then people also say you have your competitive leagues. All leagues are competitive. I mean, I know that there's a big chunk of people that call them that because, oh, your home leagues aren't real leagues, or, oh, this is a competitive league where everybody's fighting for all the same things. And fantasy football is not universal. It's always going to be a different experience, even in leagues that you call competitive, where I hate that because everybody is competing, even in home leagues. This isn't Super Smash Brothers, man. I mean, it's fantasy football is different. So that stuff drives me nuts.
Two into one league, though. That I'm in for. If someone has a Super Smash Bros. Tournament where we've got to hop on, and that's like a point for the week, I am very into that as a thing.
Super Smash Brothers tournament to determine draft order.
Now, we're talking. Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, I like this a lot.
Man, I haven't done a Smash Brothers tournament since like college. I'm
Can we do
long
this for
overdue.
Scott Fishbowl, like for our own like little mini league?
Ooh.
You know, like wherever we get set up. Oh, dude, we got to do this. We got to get a couple leagues doing this for Chicago, because we could have multiple leagues get in on one super Smash Bros. Tournament if we wanted to.
Every city in Scott Fishbowl could do this.
Should we just get Scott Fish and be like, hey, you run a charity, all right? Why wouldn't people want to donate to join the Super Smash Brothers tournament? Then you can bet on your guy to see what seed they're going to get in the actual Scott Fish Bowl. This is a real idea. We are cooking tonight. I'm super into this.
We are cooking tonight, baby.
Oh my goodness. Tell me that wouldn't be good. Oh, we could live stream the heck out of that too. That would
be so good.
Yeah. All right, we're talking to Scott. Scott, I'm reaching out to you tomorrow, this weekend, and I'm gonna have you watch this. We're gonna do something absolutely sick. I bet you we could raise a decent amount of money for charity on that too. To be honest with you, and that does not suck either.
No, it wouldn't.
All right, man. Well, we'll take Smash Bros. Questions too. I don't think I've actually played the game in many years, but it would not take me a while to get back into it. That would be such a good time.
Let's get to D Premier's question. I'm hoping I said that right.
You know what? It's funny. So he is the commissioner of at least one, maybe multiple leagues that I'm in. Was a part of a really cool Dynasty community I was sort of invited into, which is just fantastic. A good buddy of mine passed away. They used to kind of be the league runner for that. Super cool. I have never spoken to him to ask him if that is like his last name, a combination. I've always called him De Premier on the show, but we'll have to see. Anyways, good friend of mine. Love being in leagues with him. Awesome guy. Should have probably bought Rome off of him. This is the only share of Rome I didn't acquire that I could have had, and it's disappointing. But what do we think? Pollard, Mason, full PPR. I know where I'm going. I want to see if you'll twist my arm the other way.
I'm going Jordan Mason here because the Washington Commanders defense is depleted and they're not that good at stopping the run anymore. Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears have to face that horrible Cleveland, and by horrible I mean brutal, Cleveland defensive line. They're rough to try to run the ball past, and they're even rough to try. They have a really good defense. So I think they're the number 5 defense in leagues where DSTs matter. I have Tony Pollard at 32 in PPR leagues and Jordan Mason at 24. Give me the bruiser Mason against that awful Commanders defense.
I'm with you. I like the Mason one a lot. Pollard, even if he gets 100% of the snaps, is just not playable in that offense. You know me. I'm the Spears guy. Only because I don't think you could put anyone in there. I don't think the starting running back is going to matter. I think it's whoever's the pass catcher is maybe has a chance to be relevant, and neither of them have a chance for a touchdown. But Mason, I think I like Mason the player better at this point in time. I feel like that team needs a running game to work, and it's something that can work if they want it to, if they really go for it. Yeah. Give me Mason. Kind of feels gross both ways, but the chances, like if the Aaron were to go down, even for a couple plays, that's enough to eke in there and see what Mason can do. So yeah, give me Mason. Feels like it's a race to who can get to 10 points, and you're happy as it gets.
I am out on Tony Pollard rest of season 2. I know a lot of people want to like talk up Pollard because he can be efficient still, but I think the Titans ruined the rest of his career, man. I don't think he's valuable anymore.
Yeah. I was a big Pollard fan. I drafted a lot of him last year, and I drafted a decent amount of him this year. But the entire premise was Tennessee was a tire fire if Cam Ward is better than expected. If Cam Ward does like a Bo Nix where it's like, oh, actually, he's pretty good, I was like, oh, the offense is going to benefit. And he was somehow way worse than we anticipated. And then there it is. So there we go. I did say we would take a Smash Bros question. I said we would. So I'll go into the bag of tricks. Well, how's it going, fellas? Perk, how we doing? Bro Shove wants to know who is our Smash Bros character if we're playing. I'll open for sure because I know back in my heyday, this was a game for me. I was pretty good. I love me some Samus. Always big fan. Fox is just OP though. Fox is too good at the OG. I'm a big Fox guy, but Samus if I'm messing around. Kirby if I had too much to drink, maybe possibly. That's me. I don't know. Who'd you roll with?
I mean, if it's too much to drink, are you sure you're not going to confuse Kirby with Jigglypuff?
Nope. I can't do it. For those that like esports, I can't do like Hungry Box. I could never pull off Rest, man. Couldn't make it happen. But plenty of suicides with the swallow.
So Jigglypuff is definitely not my character, but I am a Luigi guy. If you can time the up punch perfectly when the opponent's percentage is like over 100%, it is an instant knockout. I love that.
Oh, it's a good way to piss people off, man. That for sure. That's so miserable.
I'll tell you the best way to piss people off with Luigi. He has a taunt where he just kind of kicks the ground, and you can actually hit your opponent with it.
Oh man, we are doing a Get Right Smash Brothers tournament. We're gonna do a Listener League Smash Brothers. There's so many things, guys. Help me get away from my day job for a day or two, and we've got some off-season plans. I did have a kid. It slowed us down a little bit, but we got some fun stuff coming. Draft season is gonna be a blast. We're gonna many tournaments.
This is gonna convince me to buy the Smash Brothers game for the Switch. I have a Switch too, but I haven't bought Smash Brothers yet.
Oh, we're gonna have to make this happen. This is how we're gonna make major company decisions in the off season. It's all Smash Bros. That's the play. But Perk, how we doing, my friend? Good to see you. Actually, I feel like me and Classic always knew him as Raven for show. But I blame Perk. We got Flex One is a 3/4 tight end premium, otherwise full PPR. We're going Monangai, Myers, Jacoby Myers, or Chris Rodriguez or Evan Ingram. Again, 0.75 tight end premium. Monangai, Myers, Rodriguez, Ingram.
Why is it 3/4 of a point for tight end premium? That is such a specific number. Either be half or full. That's the kind of thing that drives me nuts. But I mean, I'm not hating on you though, Pierce. I like it. It's different. But at this point, nobody should be starting Chris Rodriguez. I don't care how desperate you are at running back. Chris Rodriguez is in a nightmare running back by committee that the Washington Commanders cannot make work. For all you know, Jeremy McNichols could break out and have another 2-touchdown game and trick everybody into trying to add him. I want nothing to do with Chris Rodriguez just because he's been like the hottest hand recently in that horrible committee. Evan Ingram, I am done with too. I don't care if it's tight end premium. He just does not get enough targets in that offense anymore. And for whatever reason, like the Broncos can't figure out how to throw the football anymore. And I don't know what I'm watching. Maybe everybody just figured out the Broncos, or I don't know what's going on. But
Nix is not elite.
Well, it remains to be seen. It's a sophomore slump. We shall see next season. Kyle Monangai is a pretty juicy option, especially if he gets a red zone look. But you've also got Jacoby Myers, who has a great set of hands. Even against a tough secondary in Indianapolis, I would love to get Jacoby Myers in there. And I think I'm going to lean Jacoby Myers here.
Did I miss BTJ in there? I'm seeing Jacoby Myers, BTJ.
Yeah, I'm not starting Brian Thomas Jr. anymore.
I'm Jacoby over BTJ, at least this week. Maybe not rest of season. Anything can happen. But yeah, if it's between Myers and BTJ, I don't know why. Mentally, I wrote him off. But I am Jacoby over BTJ. Are you going Jacoby here?
I'm going to go Jacoby here. I mean, Monangai, the Packers are definitely going to be planning out our run game. They saw what we did to the Eagles, and I think they're going to be throwing a lot of pressure at Caleb, which is why that we're going to get to Galaxy Pickers' question again, but that's also why I'm higher on the wide receivers this week, because I think Caleb is going to have to get rid of the football quick. They're going to be definitely targeting our run game.
I like it. Actually, I should put comments on stage here. Okay. This is actually not super close for me. I do like Monangai a lot. But this is just a question of I have one guy that's just very much higher than everyone else. I'm really in on Jacoby Myers. I've been a fan of Jacoby Myers pretty much his entire career, to be honest with you. I've drafted a ton of him. He's always a guy that goes undrafted. I waiver him pretty early and just play a ton of him. Won a lot of leagues with him. It's just a steady Eddie last year in 3 wide receiver sets or leagues. So this is not particularly close. If you want other reasons, Chris Rodriguez it's really just him falling in the end zone every single week. Outside of that touchdown, everything else is just very meh with little upside on top of it. And the narrative expected to go away from him. So if you take 6 points out of those box scores, they are worse than Tony Pollard's. Let that sink in. Evan Ingram, that's enough. That's the take. I said Evan Ingram. That's all you need to know. Monungai is legitimately interesting. I'm just not there over Jacoby. A lot of names I would have Monungai over, to be fair, right? Just not going to be Jacoby for me this week. So Myers for both of us. Perk, appreciate you. And Perk actually going 2 for 2, and then we're going to get down to our good friend Galaxy Pictures. Actually, couple perk triple pack here, man. Appreciate you. Flex 1, picking one flex full PPR. Egbuka, Scary Terry, or BTJ.
Give me all the Scary Terry you can handle. Give me Scary Terry. I am so sick of people doubting this guy too. Not saying you're doubting him. I blame Pierce, but I think a lot of fantasy football is doubting Terry McLaurin because the Commanders are doing badly this year and they don't have Jaden Daniels throwing him the football on a consistent basis anymore. Even if Mariota was throwing him the football, I would still go McLaurin here because Mariota's got to get rid of the football to somebody, and it's got to be more than just Deebo Samuel. But that's neither here nor there. Give me Scary Terry. That Minnesota secondary can't stop anybody.
I do like that they get their starter back. I do like that it's Jaden Daniels throwing to him. Man, it's close. He came back, played pretty good last week. I'm a little concerned that Jaden back is not necessarily amazing for the offense. His timing might be off. It was a pretty rough injury. A close enough tiebreaker for me that I'm going Egbuka this week. It is, I'll admit, it's close, and I think too many people are going to fade McLaurin, possibly unfairly this time of year. They want to play, they want to win, they want to put up some offense, they want to save some face. I think they're probably going to want to get him involved just to keep him happy, to not end up with an AJ Brown situation if they're intelligent. I think they are. I'm too in on Egbuka this week. I was a big fan of Evan. I liked your take. I was less spicy on it, but I know my main take was Bucky Irving back to the Bucs fixes a lot. The offensive mojo, the swagger is back. Just Bucky's a feel good. Like, why do we like him? Because sometimes he makes defenses look stupid, and he's fun to. I mean, if he's fun to watch, how much fun is he to play with, right? If you're Baker, right, you get a little bit of your mojo back. You know, I think he's got just enough like Baker getting the band back together that I like the game script that could happen if Baker decides like, no. You want to see what I'm like when I'm healthy after a little bit of a skid? Watch out. And I just don't see Jaden with that dog in him. So it's more of a Jaden coming back from injury versus a Baker situation, less than an anti-Terry Pro Egbuka take, if I'm having one anything. And BTJ doesn't belong in this question. So you got to hate on BTJ. He's burying me in too many leagues, so listen, I will never forgive him.
I love Brian Thomas Jr., but this chemistry that he cannot build with Trevor Lawrence, I'm blaming T-Law all day on that. It's like he had Mac Jones dominating with Brian Thomas Jr., and you mean to tell me that a guy like a Trevor Lawrence getting paid as much as he does can't get it going with him? Come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's like pick your take, right? It's definitely a T-Law problem, but low-key, it's also a huge pro Jacoby Myers take. The fact that he changed teams and was just immediately the wide receiver one in a no wide receivers work here. Like, honestly, Jacoby, you did really well for yourself. In the offseason, my notes are going to be wide receivers don't do good when they change teams. It almost never happens. It happens a couple times. Jacoby's not supposed to be good enough for this to happen, and it did happen. Like could he fix Sunshine over there? Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see.
I don't think anybody's fixing Sunshine, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Jaguars let Jacoby walk in the offseason when they should be trying to sign this freaking guy.
If you give Lawrence the Mac Jones treatment, I bet you he gets better. If he gets the full, like, you've got to play for your life again, like, that would probably be good for him as an adult. But hey, one more for Perk before I really want to get to Galaxy pick. Like, we both are dying for Galaxy's question here for sure. Love answering his questions too. Always well thought out. Perk, one more. Start one. 6-point passing touchdown. So we got quarterback. We got Lamar Jackson or Mahomes. Both tough matchups.
Mahomes.
Yeah, this is an easy Mahomes for me.
Yeah.
I'm actually, I'll be honest right now. I am playing the Pittsburgh defense in a lot of places. I think Watt is going to get home on Lamar more often than we'd like. The Steelers defense randomly can have some big games when they're not supposed to. And I think they are better on paper. And I think the one thing their head coach can do, because it's not offense, is he can have a statement defensive, honestly, victory. Steelers have been known to do some weirder shit. They're never going to be good, but man, can they make teams in slumps look pretty bad. I do not like Lamar is slumping against okay teams. This is a defense. It's the highest paid defense in the NFL. I think they should live up to it at some point in time. There is no defense good enough to stop Mahomes and the NFL narrative. Their season is almost over if they lose this game. You are betting against Mahomes' entire career legacy if you take Lamar over him. And we could be wrong, but I'm just saying, think about what happens if Lamar has a crazy game while injured in a tough matchup and Mahomes loses to Houston. We're not even going to be talking about your matchup anymore. We're going to be talking about the Chiefs not making the playoffs. This is bigger than all of us. Mahomes in the rigged NFL is probably going to figure it out, though, right? Come on.
So it's also worth noting, too, that it is awfully alarming that Lamar Jackson has not thrown a touchdown pass since Week 10 against the Vikings. He has not been able to do it against the Cleveland Browns, New York Jets, or Cincinnati Bengals. All of them are awful teams. I mean, kudos to the Browns for still having a good defense, but the Jets and Bengals don't. And yet Lamar couldn't throw a touchdown pass against them. You have no excuse at this point when you're paid as much as you are as Lamar Jackson is. And he hasn't even rushed into the end zone since week 1. So this Ravens team, I think Lamar Jackson is borderline droppable. And I never thought I'd ever say that, but he is borderline droppable at this time of year. I don't see why he would bounce back against a Steelers team that wants to make a statement in the AFC North.
Look, I don't want to pile on because I'm a bigger fan of, I'm not ready to get spicy. I'm not ready to get spicy on this one, but I was scared off of Lamar in Dynasty a lot because my hot take, if you want to call it that, was if you take away his legs, and that doesn't mean he stops running. I mean, an injury earlier in the season that just has him cautious and tentative, and it really fundamentally takes that play kind of away from him, or he loses confidence in it for whatever reason. He is not a good enough passer of the ball, and they typically have too good of a defense for him to put up enough. He's historically barely cracking 30 pass attempts on average. It's just not a lot of volume. And now he's historically been extraordinarily efficient on that volume, and there's very few quarterbacks who ever have. I think we always see that come back down to earth at some point, but the legs always make up for it. Without the extra couple points per game with your legs, rushing a 20-yard rush is 50 passing yards. That's why it's a cheat code when he rushes much as he should. So without that, major issues. I mean, at this point, he's rushing about as much as Trevor Lawrence. They look about the same in the box scores when it comes to rushing. So, yeah, I'm not ready to drop Lamar just yet, but there's so many quarterbacks I'm playing over him consistently week to week right now that, this is an easy choice for me. Should we get something more fun? Let's get some fun.
Let's do it.
Galaxy Pickers, friend of the show. How you doing? Hey, hope you're having a good night, my friend. We appreciate by the way, everyone that's throwing something in chat. Hey, you could have been doing anything tonight. You're here with us. We appreciate you, man. Get a second, get a third question in there. Definitely get in the Discord too. Be with us all the time, man, whenever you've got time to do some fantasy. Are we high, Evan, on Luther Burden with Rome probably out a couple weeks, right? We know he's out this week, but he is probably going to be week to week from that. We'll see what it's like. Maybe have a different prediction, but it could linger. Have to determine whether he drops him or Dobbs. This is Luther Burden we're talking about here.
Yeah, so Galaxy Pickers, this is too easy of a question. Yes, I'm definitely higher on Luther Burden. I don't think he's going to reach league winner status, but you can go ahead and drop Romeo Dobbs with that inconsistent Green Bay offense. Dobbs is not the priority in that game. Game script will determine whether or not Romeo Dobbs will either fall in the end zone or have like an 80-yard game. I'm not banking on Romeo Dobbs to be the guy over somebody like Christian Watson. And if Jaden Reed can come back, they're definitely going to get Jaden Reed some Deebo Samuel style looks. So that's going to hurt Romeo Dobbs' chances more than anything. And even with those two out, I'm still not high on Romeo Dobbs. I don't think he's a good fit for this Packer offense. You can go ahead and drop Dobbs at this point. Luther Burden, go right ahead and hold on to him. You probably missed at the beginning of the show, Galaxy Pickers, when Kendall and I were talking about he's not going to be a 1-for-1 replacement. I think he's going to be sharing some slant routes and some deep throws with Olamide Zaccheaus, but he's definitely going to start seeing a little more volume that you can happily hold on your bench until he proves that he's starting to break out. So, like I said, I don't think he's a league winner, but go right ahead and prioritize him over Dobbs.
Yep. I think the key point that we both agree with is we like him in Dynasty in a DJ Moore-less offense that's also improved. I think there's a real home for him. I was happy we took him in the draft. I think he was a prospect with a lot of talent that just needs a guy like Ben Johnson to fully utilize. But there are certain players that can step into a real elevated, significant role, and he's just not stepping into that. There's enough other proper NFL pieces that will take a little bit, and he'll get an increase, but it's not enough to spike where you need it. There's other guys that I think we think could have a bigger spike and are a little bit more startable. For me, he's more of a, if you're desperate and you're picking between some seriously gross options because you're in a league that starts 10-11, right? Where the waiver is just, there's thin and then there's that. And we have a couple get right leagues that are like that, actually, where I'm talking the top waiver wire in a full PPR league is scoring not even 7 points. It's dead. There's nothing, right? Trey Tucker would be an obscene waiver wire pick. That's how bad it is in some of these. In those cases, sure. It's 5 versus 20. I was always big on Adonai Mitchell because if he sucks like everyone else you would have picked up. But when he hits 6 times harder than everybody. That's why Burden can be a decent spot start if you're screwed. But you're stashing because you made the playoffs. You've got your round 1 bye. He's not elevated enough. Appreciate the Bears questions though, man. Keep the Bears questions coming for sure.
The other thing I'll mention too is that the fact that Luther Burden has been taken off of kick return duty since week 4 is a really good sign that they're ready to get him more involved. Because if you're still working kick return duties, unless you're somebody like an Antonio Brown, you're probably not going to move up in that offense. So that's not necessarily the universal rule of thumb, but it's a really good sign that he's been taken off of kick return duties.
Yeah, completely agree. Definitely a level up sign. Let's get to a couple more. We got a couple more rolling in here. Question from Wilson SI6 Jr. We're gonna drop Baker for Jaden rest of season. What do we think about that? Can't drop Goff.
Yeah, I don't.
Is this Superflex, by the way, Wilson? Or are we Baker, Jaden, Goff, or? I know Evans likewise with me, and we don't even like keeping 2 quarterbacks, let alone 3. I know there are some like in the Megala Bowl, if you're a fantasy footballers guy, you can't pick up quarterbacks after a certain point, so you kind of need to stash one. Let us know. I'm trying to look through the chat here. I don't know if it's Superflex or not. Please let us know.
Yeah, he hasn't said anything of that nature, but yeah, I would say you can go ahead and pick up Jaden Daniels. I would not drop Goff, but if you're holding 2 quarterbacks, don't. If it's only a 1 quarterback league, if it's a 2 quarterback league, then I would say go ahead and drop Baker for Jaden, because I would rather play Jared Goff over Baker in most cases. But yeah, if it's a 1 quarterback league, yeah, please do not hold 2 quarterbacks. You're just wasting a bench spot on a quarter. Unless you have a Justin Herbert situation in which you're not sure. Okay, I get it. You need to hold on to a second quarterback at that point, but yeah, don't hold 2 quarterbacks, guys. Just drop them for another hot waiver wire ad like an Adonai Mitchell.
Yeah. I like Goff. Their offense looked electric. They looked like they could have scored 70 on their own. That was with a less than 100% Amon-Ra without a lot of weapons. Detroit looks pretty real. And honestly, Goff had a serviceable game when every touchdown went to Bucky or went to Gibbs, right?
Yeah.
If that game script goes a little bit of a different way, Goff has like a 40-pointer. It really could have been. So I'm going to go the other way I'm going Goff rest of season. There's a reason we're talking about picking up a player. There's going to be players available. I'm just starting Goff rest of the way. I got to be honest. I'm keeping Baker instead of Jaden only because my philosophy late into the year with a team like Washington is, why would you play aggressive play calls? Why would you keep him in the game when you're losing in the 4th quarter? The amount of times he gets pulled because someone looked at him wrong. The coach just embarrassed himself for getting him injured when he absolutely shouldn't have. Should not have happened. If he does it twice, he's out of the NFL forever. Possibly both of them. So the idea here is I'm going to see a bunch of conservative play calling with a team that doesn't care. Everyone on the team wants to play for next year, probably. I don't see upside historically with those teams in those situations, and weird stuff happens, right? Where
Is Cliff Kingsbury known for conservative play calling? I don't know him to be that conservative.
He's known for bad play calling. I don't know about conservative.
I mean,
shitty play calling. Yeah, absolutely. He's known for shitty play calling. Just ruined David Johnson. We're gonna just do a slight dive to the right, dive to the left with a talented shifty back. Yeah, I hate Cliff Kingsbury. What an idiot. No, I like Baker because that team, every game matters, and Baker with a chip on his shoulder is damn near dangerous. Like I see a world where Baker is like legitimately top 3 quarterback rest of season. It doesn't have to happen, but like he's that good that he can do that on any given day whenever he wants to. If Jaden finishes as the number 3 quarterback on a week, it's probably because the coach did something he shouldn't have, like let him run in the red zone. Like, let him get touched by an opposing player. It makes no sense. Like, if Jaden has a good game, they fucked up, to be honest, in my opinion. I think they should be careful with him. Now, if the team were better, I would probably go with Jaden in a huge way. But generally, I think you can probably just drop them both and go with Goff if you need to. There's better stashes, in my opinion, if you have to. And Goff's going to be elite rest of way.
Agreed.
Caleb's got another question here. So we got a list of players we'll get to in a second. Any changes I should be making going into week 16, 17 playoffs? So it looks like, he's kind of got his final boss in points per game. Would we make any changes, assuming nothing changes with the players? I guess that's fair to say. So we've got Dak Herbert at QB. At RB, we've got Gibbs, Bucky, Judkins, Marks, and then Benson Corum, deep running back room. Wide receivers, JSN, Rashee Rice, Devontae Adams, Egbuka, Mike Evans. Holy shit, what a wide receiver room.
Yeah, right?
If this is a 12-team league, somebody messed up. This guy feels like 10-team. What a lineup. Finally, tight end, something gets reasonable here with Kincaid. If you said Trey McBride, I would just hate you. Just kidding, buddy. It's just such a good team. This is such a ridiculously good team. Any changes he should be making going into week 16 or 17? I mean, off the bat, I think whatever's happening, you're looking really, really good in your league. Evan, what do you think on changes, if anything, roster prep?
I mean, Caleb just mentioned that it's a 12-team PPR league, which I'm not surprised. It's a standard PPR redraft league. I know you just got done listening to me bash handcuff running backs like Blake Corum. Maybe he was tricking you into thinking that he's got some standalone value when he really doesn't. Once you're ready to bring guys like Mike Evans and Trey Benson off of injured reserve, you could go ahead and drop Corum at that point. I don't mind playing a little bit of keep away from somebody who is hoping to blow some fab dollars on them if they even have any left. But questions like these, I don't typically have like a magical answer that's going to magically make your team that much better because your trade deadline is already passed. You're already on the right path if your team is already in the playoff run. Like it could be 6-7 and still in the playoffs, and that would be fine because you want your team to peak in the playoffs, because it doesn't freaking matter what your record is once you get like the last seed or higher in the playoffs, because you have to think of it like everybody's 0-0. You go in and you just play your best and hope for the best. And I like what you have here, Caleb. I like it. But I also just noticed you have 2 quarterbacks. That's fine because we don't know what's going to be happening with Justin Herbert right now. So getting Dak as a fill-in over Justin Herbert is quite the good problem to have.
Yeah. Hey, I'll jump in here real quick. I got something, right? Because when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at, okay, where does the train come off the tracks, right? Look, you told me Kyron's completely down tomorrow. Corum still doesn't make your lineup. It's too good. It's full PPR. So you have the wide receivers where I'm going wide receiver over backup running back almost any day of the week, even if they're guaranteed 18 touches. Woody Mark's been getting 18 touches a week. If he doesn't get in the end zone, he's just been So the red flag here is Kincaid and his health issues. If you're going to stash, I'm immediately stashing tight ends at this point. And this is the only league I would ever do it in, but that's your only weak spot. Like Kincaid could legitimately be out on any given week. And you can't have your backup also be out, right? Because then you could lose a match because you're starting 3 points at tight end versus 13. I'm just seeing that as the major weak point. So I know right now there's a couple decent pickups at tight end. I mean, I think most of them good ones have been picked up by now, but I would heavily be looking at another tight end over Corum if I'm making any changes to prep for that. And I would be aggressive. If Kincaid's your only tight end, I guess I'm less aggressive and more balanced with someone that can just play. I'm trying to think of some names. Caleb, let us know who's on a waiver for tight ends, if you could or would at some point here. Did I freeze? Oh, I think we're back.
You're frozen occasionally, but you're doing okay.
Okay, good. Sorry, definitely let me know, guys. My apologies.
Yeah, so I think, Caleb, I think that's pretty good what Kendall also mentioned. I just realized you also had one tight end on your roster. If you're just streaming one tight end at a time, that's fine, but there's nothing wrong with holding more than one tight end, because if you have at least one flex spot, that adds value to the tight end, even if it's not a tight end premium league. So you definitely want to get yourself another tight end that's worth starting. I don't know what your tight end waiver wire looks like in this 12-team league, but surely there's somebody that you can grab that would be of more value than a handcuff running back like a Blake Corum, who, if he doesn't fall in the end zone or get to 80 yards, he's practically putting up like 2, 3, 4 fantasy points, and that's nothing you're going to start anyway. So, yeah, you can definitely search out a tight end and see what happens with
here's
Kincaid.
some guys, right? Like Strange should be picked up by now. He's probably not, but if he is, Brenton Strange is pretty good. I don't think most people dropped Fannin, but he has been dropped I'm in a 12-team league. He's available right now. Njoku's snap count's going way down. He's getting as a tight end, he's getting 90% of the snap share. So I like Fannin. Juwan Johnson's owned, but I like him and his schedule rest of season. Zach Ertz is available in some places. Massive game last week. Jaden comes back. Could potentially give the offense a boost. I know I just said I'm kind of down on the whole situation, but Ertz is Ertz. He's kind of like poor man's well, actually, no, man. He's just decent Zach Ertz. So that's another one. Colston Loveland, like him this week, decent rest of season. These are just some names that I would be going after. Darren Waller is a weird high upside guy as a backup. He started as a 32-year-old, all of a sudden had caught two touchdowns. He's back healthy again. Just some names to give you an idea that are a combination of upside playable this week.
Juwan Johnson is owned in 73% of sleeper leagues, and I feel like that number is way too low. What's not helping him is that, yeah, it should be close to 100. Like, what's not helping him is that he plays for the Saints, and I think that's fooling a lot of people. Go get Juwan Johnson if he's out there, please. He should easily eat against the Buccaneers.
Looks like, he pops it in here. He's got Fannin, Barner, Evan Ingram. We hate Evan Ingram. Strange has been picked up. So you got Fannin at a minimum. Fannin's excellent.
Go ahead and get Fannin.
Upside. Yeah, there you go. Definitely. Fannin over Corum pretty easily for me. We're both. I got another anti-Corum guy. Let's get it, man. Got to protect my Kyron. I'm big Notre Dame over here, so got to stay Kyron. And oh my goodness, are you going to hear me in the offseason talking about Jeremiah? Oh my goodness. Woo! Jeremiah Love. Let's get it. Let's get some more questions here. Finding Nino. Gadsden or Loveland. We'll go easy on you this week for advice. Yeah, that's going easy on us. That is just back to back in my rankings. Super, super good. You going Loveland?
I'm going Loveland here. Gadsden, yep. I think this Chargers offense is struggling too much to get. Gadsden has been losing a lot of targets lately in this offense, which, I mean, he couldn't even get it done against the Raiders, so I think that's kind of a bad sign for Gadsden. I don't think Gadsden is a must drop, but I'm playing Colston Loveland over Oronde Gadsden this week because even though the Eagles are struggling, they still have a good defense, and they're still pretty good at defending the tight end too. So yeah, give me Colston Loveland over Oronde Gadsden.
Yep, I'm there. I do have Gadsden over Loveland by an absolute Barbie doll hair rest of season, mostly for upside cases. That could absolutely change in a 1 week window any week, though. I mean, it's paper thin, but I'm throwing that out there just so you guys know my take. I'm Loveland this week. If you had to drop one to play the other, I would keep Gadsden. But if I'm 1 week at a time, I'm going Loveland. I don't want to say not close, but for me, it's like Loveland definitely this week, in my opinion. Let's keep it rolling. We got Rabbit Holer 66 says Jacoby Brissett with limited weapons or Lamar Jackson. It's point per completion league.
So if you've been paying attention to the statistics that Jacoby Brissett has put up versus Lamar Jackson, This is the easiest question we've gotten so far, and it's easily Jacoby Brissett. Don't give me Lamar Jackson anymore because the struggles on that Ravens offense are real. Rabbit Holer, my man, you gotta give us a stumper question. That one was way too easy.
Yeah. I appreciate it. It's fun. I love hearing about leagues with points per completion. I love tiny little wrinkles like that. Not enough to break a league, enough that it rewards paying attention. And this is such a good question for that scoring setup because I was on Baker over Brissett last week and live on the show on Friday. Excuse me, I had to do a little more homework. And it was the attempts, completions. I had to look up all the Brissett stuff. And it got me on Brissett at the end of the day. And I think it was the correct play and how it ended up playing. And it was all based off of they're not running the ball enough. They have no run game. The attempts are going to be high, completions likely to follow. And Lamar, even on a good day, he'll throw 4 touchdowns, but his completions are like 16, 18 sometimes. And this is not like a quarter of a point or half point. This is full point per completion. So this is a crack league, right? Or the scoring is Scott Fishbowl style, right? Quarterbacks are scoring 40, 50 points. 20 completions is 20 points at a floor on top of everything. Right. So just put that in perspective, right? Every quarterback starts with 18 to 25 points. And that's with 0 touchdowns. So I'd have to know the rest of your scoring, but yeah, definitely Brissett. And I'm just going to throw it out there. Finding Neno, that's for the Foot Clan Dynasty. Love to hear that. I would love to be into some more of the Foot Clan listener leagues, man. Definitely one of the friends over here. What else do we got for questions?
Let's go to, well, yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised you haven't started Lamar in over a month, Rabbit Holer 66. You can't. The Ravens offense is awful, except for Derrick Henry. Like, they don't know what they're doing.
You made the right call, though. I fell into the trap a couple of times, but I'll be with you. I definitely started. I had Jackson Dart in the league that I have Lamar, which coincides the wrong time for me this week. That is not good. Yeah, thankfully I've made some of those right calls too. So we'll have to see. In a league, I had a legitimate question of should I start Tyler Shuck over Lamar? And that's a bridge too far for me. But the fact that I think about it is not a fun place to be, if I'm being honest.
All right, let's go to Shawdog 6944.
Oh, did I miss one? Shawdog, there we go. One of Phil's buddies, if I remember correctly. How we doing, Shawdog? In a couple leagues. That's I'm in a dynasty league with you, I believe, Shawdog. I think the redraft too. Aaron Jones or Tony Pollard, full PPR.
Oh, Shawdog, how did you get in this predicament, my man?
Dude,
that is a disgusting choice to have to make. Yeah. But I mean, if I have to pick one of them, I'm gonna go Aaron Jones because at least if he plays, he's gonna get at least enough volume to be able to, they have to play against the Washington Commanders' awful offense, and I know Aaron Jones is not really much of a red zone option anymore, and he's splitting a lot of carries with Jordan Mason. But it's not looking good for either one. I don't want to have to play running backs from the Vikings or Titans if I can help it. And I want nothing to do with Tony Pollard anymore. Nobody's going to convince me otherwise. So I'll take Aaron Jones over Tony Pollard.
Yeah, easy call for me. Aaron Jones, Tony Pollard checks every box over Tony Pollard. And that's even if Tony Pollard falls in the end zone. He probably ends up with 7 points.
Which he hasn't done since week 5.
Yeah, it's just not a good look. Give me some Aaron Jones.
Actually, Tony Pollard has lost more fumbles than he's fallen in the end zone. He's lost 3 fumbles this year, and he's only fallen in the end zone twice. Yeah. Take that for what you will.
I don't think he's mentally there anymore. I mean, if I were on the Titans, I don't think I'd be doing super well either. That's keep on, guys. I heard this on, I think this was on Colin Cowherd's show a couple of days, might have even been a week ago, but it stuck with me a little bit in that the Titans historically, not a good franchise. A lot of folks, depending on when you started playing fantasy or when you started watching the NFL or when you started taking it serious from just kind of watching a little bit, like the Titans under Vrabel were quite good. But before Vrabel, they were an absolute tire fire. They were never good front and back office. Vrabel took them from complete jokes, made them legitimized. No question what he's doing with the Patriots all of a sudden, right? He was a good coach the whole time, and it was time for a change. But him taking Derrick Henry and doing what he was doing with the Titans are not a historically buttoned up organization. Without Vrabel, they are closer to the Jets. They just don't have the off the field drama stuff, but it's not too far away. I mean, these are the guys that ended up where Ridley finished his career essentially right now, right? Which is not a great look.
I can never forgive the Tennessee Titans for trading A.J. Brown during the draft to replace him with Treylon Burks.
A guy
and then they
with
ended up releasing him anyway.
Yeah, it was so unreal. Like, I remember seeing that and being like, I know Treylon's talented. Everybody that really scouted the draft, all the this was one of those where I'm like, Dynasty fantasy footballers at the highest level are just objectively more intelligent than a lot of NFL analysts. And I would say they belong in a draft room. I'm not going to say every GM's bad. I'm not going to go super spicy. But if you really look, there are just some like, why would you take that risk? It makes no sense why you would take that risk. And Treylon Burks was not the guy to do it. A lot of wide receivers, I would say, roll the damn dice. I can't fault you. I can absolutely fault you on Treylon Burks. That is you didn't do your homework and you haven't practiced enough. Yeah.
Kudos to him for making that diving catch for the Commanders, though, even though it was only one target. And it was a diving catch that ended up breaking his collarbone with the Titans at training camp, which ended up getting him released. Yeah. And go figure, it's poetic that it comes full circle now that he's a member of the Commanders and he does a one-handed diving catch for a touchdown. Take that, Titans!
Yeah. My brother... he lives out in Tennessee right now. So I've been I was hoping the Titans would be good under Cam, and all of a sudden maybe I could come out, catch a Titans game. He was in sports broadcasting, so I thought maybe we'd have a good time with it. And no, that's not happening. Everyone in Tennessee is disc golfing. They're not watching the Titans game right now. No good. Hey, we got some colorful questions here. Caleb Andrews, new fan of the show, friend of mine and yours, friend of everyone's, I hope. Who y'all Super Bowl contenders and predicted finals? I haven't gotten this question yet.
Yeah, that's a really tough one to answer right now, Caleb, because when the playoffs get here, anything goes. We don't even have the wild cards matchup set right now, so I'm not ready to throw out a hot take about this yet. I'm going to defer to you, Kendall. I'm going to I'm going to pass on the question.
I got Rams Patriots. Yep.
Not bad picks though.
Yeah, I think the Rams are probably the best combination of roster, coaching, and a quarterback who's absolutely been there before. It's just it's everything. Very, very few weaknesses in the game there. I love the Patriots. I think their roster is overrated. Actually, I don't think they have the best collection of players, but I think they're extremely well coached. And they just I'm the biggest Drake May fan you're ever going to see. I really like it. I think the AFC is kind of a weird mess, but I'm just going to take my Patriots right now and my Drake May. Can't say the Bears fantasy. I'd love to. As the current, we're not Super Bowl favored or anything, but we are the number one in the NFC. I'm just saying we are currently the number one in the NFC. So I guess it's a hot take that I'm not going with the favorites in the NFC. I'm going with number two. But yeah, Rams, Patriots. If I were really giving you like if I thought through this, I think I would find a way to find someone over the Patriots. I just can't right now, but I'll be looking.
Before we forget, let's move up to Let's Get It 49706's question.
Did we miss one?
We missed that one. Let's get it!
Let's get it says, what's up, fellas? We need 2 wide receivers and a flex for the week. All right, let's get it. Half PPR. Jacoby Myers, A.D. Mitchell, BTJ, Woody Marks, Devon Vele, Burden. Oh, he just put. I love that. Just Luther, not Luther Burton. Just Luther. He must be. He's related. They know each other. And Corum. So half PPR. We need to pick 3. Got to be 2 wide receivers. Anything for the flex. Jacoby, ADM, BTJ, Marks Vele, Burden, Corum.
Ooh, I'm going to let you go first on this one. I need some time to think about that.
First wide receiver in Jacoby Myers. Super easy for me. Absolutely love him this week. Think he catches, there's no way he catches less than 6 passes for about 50, 60 yards. So chalk him in. It's half PPR, so it's not quite the same, but that's 8 points in half PPR, about 7.5, 8. And the chances he gets in the end zone are pretty good. Give me Jacoby Myers. Second wide receiver for me is going to be, when we're going with Jacoby, so it makes me want to fade BTJ. I don't want to play both of them. It is a high over-under against the Colts, to be honest, but I actually think Jacoby's just going to eat where BTJ is going to be slightly, I don't want to say overmatched, but I don't trust the quarterback wide receiver connection there. It's between A.D. Mitchell and Devon Vele. The tough part for me is I only have a 1-game sample with Vele. I don't really know what to predict. I do think he has a decent target share. I just don't know if it's going to mean anything. If you recall, Devon Vele's targets for the Denver Broncos were very close to the line of scrimmage. He had decent targets, but they never became anything, and he might just be in half PPR. Full PPR, I'm a little more in on Vele, but I think he's a high target, low yardage guy, where in half PPR, that makes me lean A.D. Mitchell. His longer A dot, yards per attempt, yards per target are going to be quite a bit better. Give me Myers and A.D. Mitchell at wide receiver, and then flex for me is pretty close. I can't do BTJ, so I'm between Marks and Vele, but in half PPR, the tiebreaker is always going to be just start the running back. Touchdowns matter too much. In the matchups, it's not great for him, to be honest, but I just think volume, he's on a touchdown, the cold streak. Maybe he gets right on that. So Myers, A.D. Mitchell, Woody Marks.
Yep, I'm 100% with you on this one, Kendall. I think you got to go Myers, Mitchell, and Marks for this one for your 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. Let's get it. We appreciate the question, and I love the Joey Pants avatar you got going on there. I can't tell if that's when he's playing Ralph on The Sopranos, but Ralph is easily one of my favorite, asshole characters that you can't wait to get killed off in the series. And if you haven't seen the series yet, sorry, not sorry about the spoiler for an older show, but do watch it though. I love that show, The Sopranos. Fantastic series.
Oh, hey, real quick, we got Frank's in the chat. What up, Frank? How we doing, man? I think Frank was popping in on Rabbit. We were talking about kickers for a little bit. I think
Aubrey outscoring Gibbs.
Yeah, dude, I saw that in a couple leagues though. Absolutely wild. Oh man, I think I know you're not a huge fan of it, and I don't like trashing people. I barely know online, but I'm in Super League. I'm currently number 1 overall in Super League, by the way, because my kickers keep scoring 40 points a game. It's just the scoring is broken in Super League. You should draft, I have 3 kickers. Everyone else, I think, only has 2. It's such a mistake. Kickers. Okay, and I'm a soccer player. I love kickers. I just don't like them in fantasy because I want to have fun with them. But Frank, dude, good to have you in, man. Feel free to pop in. I think we're probably about to call it a day here, but me and Frank, we still have yet to do. Maybe you guys will like this. We're gonna do Frank is an avid fisherman. He's quite good. If you've ever seen his background going on there, I wanted to do a fun little episode where Frank has to find a player in the NFL for each fish that he catches. So what's the bluefin tuna of the NFL? What is the dolphin of the NFL? I want to go deep on this. It's going to be another very weird stream.
Before we run ads and close it out, I want to spend a few minutes though to talk about what we mentioned at the beginning of the show. Kyler Murray. I would love to fight certain haters to be the biggest Kyler Murray hater of all time. I have seen a lot of mental gymnastics about Kyler Murray acting like that we shouldn't be reading too much in the homework clause that was originally put in the contract extension that Kyler Murray got, which his agent successfully negotiated out of it, and then Kyler Murray got paid big time to just stink up the joint and underwhelm for the Arizona Cardinals. I sincerely, I hate the Arizona Cardinals as a team, but I sincerely wish them the best in getting rid of Kyler Murray. They made a big mistake in signing him with paying him as much as they did, acting like that he's the quarterback of the future with all the glaring flaws that he refused to fix. The guy, all you have to do is read his numbers to see just how much he underwhelms for being a number 1 overall pick. There's been speculation that he might go back and take up his athletics contract in baseball. If he does, well, great. Now, a lot of people like to make fun of him for his height as if he's too short to play the position. That's not even a problem. You don't have to be 6 feet to play good quarterback. I just have a problem that Kyler Murray can't throw the deep ball. And you've got wide receivers that also can't catch the deep ball. which doesn't help. But Kyler Murray, I hope he ends up getting away. He won't get cut from the Cardinals, but we'll see if he gets traded anywhere, because the Vikings, the Browns, the Jets, they could all use quarterbacks, but I don't see Kyler getting traded. What do you think, Kendall?
I mean, so on the Dynasty football, this is really it's more of a business question than an NFL question, right? Because at the end of the day, these teams are businesses. They're paying these players tens of millions of dollars. So the buck doesn't stop at, no, we're done, right? There's lawyers, there's future planning, there's committees that are like, okay, we might be off of him, but how do we do that without, there's a process to go. I'd have to really look at it a little bit more to figure out what I think is best for the team from a dead cap. I don't know the dead cap. I don't know the contract situation as much. And that heavily affects the situation overall. And the Cardinals have not been a bad organization. They put themselves in a bad spot here, but I won't hate on them as much as I will some other guys. I mean, they're not the best out there, but they've made less boneheaded moves than other, it feels unfair to say, hey, you got a bad quarterback, you must be the Jets. Like, they haven't been that bad for a long time. The rebuilds don't take too long. They've made enough good decisions that I honestly think they thought they were too buried in this and they needed a comeback, and it's just not, I
don't want to give him credit for not screwing up draft picks the way the Giants have, but Matt Lombardo I can't remember what podcast he was on, he said that the New York Giants are the Arizona Cardinals, but with a better history than the Cardinals. I tend to agree with that part. The Giants at least have a history with Super Bowls. The Cardinals have all of 0 Super Bowls, despite one appearance in 2008. They got nothing to play for, and they consistently score the worst in NFLPA report cards. They don't even treat their players well. So I have nothing good to say about the Cardinals just because they didn't screw up some draft picks.
Well, I mean, they are in Arizona. I mean, there are some teams where I'm like, it's not exactly a fair fight for them. It never should be. They're in Arizona. I mean, there are bad markets, and there's Arizona.
That's true for hockey, which they did just lose the Coyotes. But I mean, there are Cardinal fans in Glendale, the Phoenix area. They just don't put together a good organization.
Yeah, I mean, harder to put together an organization when it's like you got to get Arizona excited. Most people aren't from Arizona; they move to Arizona, right? Which makes it a difficult market because you don't have true hometown patriotism in a place like Arizona nearly as much as you do in other places. There's so many Bears fans because somebody lived in Chicago for a month and they'll never go back. There's stuff like that, but I can't go on record as being like an Arizona apologist. Let's not go there. I'm wearing red today. That's as far as I'll go into the Cardinals. Maybe I like Marv a little too much, but I have hated Kyler from the moment he was drafted. I mean, it was, you are too short. This shouldn't work. I was off of Bryce for the exact same, straight up, you're too short. You're way too short for this. There's no way in a game where everyone is the best at what they do that those inches aren't just going to absolutely beat you up. And he doesn't have he doesn't have the mental for it.
I just think that Phoenix is better at supporting the Suns than any other team because they love their Phoenix Suns, but the Cardinals are just a harder one just because they've just been so brutal to watch. Even when the Suns are bad, there'll be empty seats, but I just feel like they're a basketball state more than anything else.
Yep. I'm kind of with you there. But yeah, look, I mean, the Cardinals, they're going to go through something. What's interesting is it would have felt totally terrible for them, except Brissett comes in and is doing amazing work. And we saw Mac Jones be a really good bridge. Teams go from hopeless to like the Jets are still hopeless, right? Because they don't have a bridge. A bridge isn't working, right? And Vegas is even worse because they paid decent money for not a bridge. He was supposed to be, if it was a bridge, he was the best bridge out there. And that didn't work. When you've got Brissett that's just outplaying the guy you paid a bunch to, it mitigates that hurt a lot. I could see Brissett playing with them all next year, and actually Brissett could take them to the playoffs. That could actually happen. If Brissett played all year this year, I mean, it's not out of the question.
And I think it is out of the question. They need an offensive line and they need a defense, and they have neither.
Well, I'm saying they'd get those in the draft. This draft, if they nailed it and had to go Brissett all next year, look, they wouldn't do anything in the playoffs. They're not a deep run team, but they would have they could have the Pittsburgh Steelers-esque, oh shit, you could mess with someone else's dream. You're not going to do anything, but yeah, Kyler, he's a problem. I think he's changed the way so many people play fantasy, which is it's a stain. Like the fact that some people will archetypally not draft any player that looks like you because of how much pain and suffering he caused an entire community. Like it's not good. And the gaming community definitely knows about you, Kyler. So I don't think you're gonna have a lot of love there too. So we'll have to see, man. You gotta grow up a little bit, dude. Take your licks. Depp, I gotta bring this up. Is that our Kyler for Herbert deal? Is that the Kyler share that you have? I thought I sold Kyler a little low when Herbert lost all of his weapons, and I bought Herbert.
You got Justin Herbert for Kyler straight up?
No, I gave more. I gave Kyler and a couple pieces for Herbert. Not too much.
Great buy. Great buy.
Well, at the time, though, here's the thing. And it might be different leagues. It might have been same league, but I did it with somebody else. That could absolutely. I got to look it up with Depp. I know I'm in a dynasty league where I did this trade. It's either with him or with somebody else in that league. And at the time, this was before the Marvin Harrison pick. This was that offseason. So I got rid of Kyler before the draft, before the Marv pick. And this is the year that Herbert lost literally every weapon he has, right? And so what ends up happening is I do the trade, and then all the analysts in the fantasy community are super spicy on Kyler. And then the entire fantasy community, every analyst and talking head shouty show is just nosediving on the Chargers and Herbert because he lost all of his weapons and yada, yada. So I looked like an idiot after I did it. And it took me an entire year to recover.
Oh my God, Depp, you're right. Trey McBride has caught less touchdown passes with Kyler than Jacoby in a matter of 7 games. That is crazy. That's insane.
Oh, what a stat. Oh my goodness. Dude, Depp, wait.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He has 7 touchdowns with Jacoby Brissett throwing the ball.
That is unreal. That is unreal. You just made my night, Depp. That was good. I'm glad it wasn't you that I did that deal with, because I loved it too much. I still wish I had Sam Darnold in Rome. I really do. I could have done so well in that league if I made that trade with you, but you're too savvy. Man.
Ladies, gentlemen, and all those in between or outside of it, thank you very much for tuning in tonight, especially those of you in the comments who said that you subscribed to the Get Right Fantasy Network on YouTube. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate your subs. We'll definitely be coming at you even in the off season with more content, which we'll talk more about that when we get closer to it, but I don't want to run over our ads first, as Kendall will bring those up soon.
Yeah, let's get a couple. Let's throw some shout outs to our homies over here. I'm so slow with the overlay. All right, guys. I'm probably gonna throw some small logos up, and I'm just gonna do some talking instead of the huge overlays because I'm fully unprepared. But hey, it's all good. We're gonna throw Underdog up here in the top left. Guys, huge fans of Underdog. They help keep the lights on. Really like them. Check the description. Just keep hearing. We have promo codes all the time. We're going to be coming out with an additional show. We got to do a lot of sharpening up in the off season, but stay with us. We've got an awesome Discord, Dynasty questions, start sits. It's a community where you can ask questions and we'll actually answer you with paragraphs, right? All the stuff coming. We're growing a little bit, but the whole thing about us is we are a little bit free to play. We're monetized. We'll ask for a couple bucks here and there, but we're never too greedy. We're big on the community, big on the draft community. So if you like draft season, you want to do a lot of drafts, you want a fun community where you kind of like, it's the bar, it's your local place, everyone knows you type of thing. It's a good community for that. And we're going to have a good time in the draft season. A lot of fun. So check out Underdog, though. We're going to be doing more betting shows, definitely more stuff with them. We're going to be doing probably 2 or 3 shows in the offseason next year when we get into best ball drafts. But it's our favorite place to play. They're our title sponsor when it comes to best ball. So please do check them out. I don't have the codes with me right now. I think it's just Get Right. I think it's just code Get Right now.
That's
Double
correct.
check that, but yeah. I am a horrible owner of this company. I should know my codes before I hop on. But honestly, I don't hop on here to shill. I come here to hang out with you guys. The sponsors are going to hate me for it. But appreciate them quite a bit. Talk a little bit about Trophy Smack. Check them out. Awesome stuff. There's not too many players in this space, but we like them. They like us. And they got some really good product, good people, good history. If you're ever looking at the way the company came about, really nice people over there. Get all your if you're going to win a title, you want to get your own ring. Honestly, it's pretty affordable. These are trophies, rings, sort of winning memorabilia that you can pass around the league, kind of do some things with them. They're actually pretty good. They're not that expensive. If you spend a little bit, the actual discounts you get are fantastic. So again, a code Get Right with there. And send us some pictures, man. If you're getting something, we'll rep the league. I tell you what, if you hook them up, you buy some stuff from Trophy Smack, helps us out a little bit. We will send us your roster, send us your title roster. We'll give you a full breakdown going in next year. Maybe we'll do a little draft prep with you. We'll do some stuff. So, hey, appreciate the sponsors for the show. Appreciate you guys hopping in. Hope you guys had a good Friday night. Check out the description. I didn't put it in there. I think Mike did, but you know where to find us. Definitely get into the Discord right now. Easy place to find us. That being said, we're easy to find. We talk some football. It's been real. Hope you guys have a good weekend. Let's get some dubs. Let's make the playoffs. Evan, it's been fun. Should we play some music for the boys and girls out there?
Yes, we should.
We'll catch you guys on the next one.